Picture this. The elevator doors open, you walk in, and then you realize you're in there with the full cast of Shark Tank, and you don't have an elevator pitch. Now, the chances of this happening, very slim, but you do want to be prepared in case it does happen. Maybe it's not the cast of Shark Tank, but maybe it's somebody super important that can help you grow your business, and you need to be prepared in the amount of time it takes that elevator to go up to whatever floor you're getting to. So today I'm going to show you how to craft an effective elevator pitch so that you're ready. Let's get right into it. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? My name is Maricruz. I'm an engineer, entrepreneur, and environmentalist. And in this channel, I'm your small business coach. Now, as a serial entrepreneur, I've done my fair share of pitches. Some formal, some informal. I've done pitch competitions, accelerator programs, and I've sat down with some of the most influential entrepreneurs in San Diego from whom I've gathered this information. And I've put together this clear and easy process to craft a solid elevator pitch. Just quickly, let me tell you about what an elevator pitch is. If you just want to jump into the process, you can go to this time point. An elevator pitch is a concise and compelling introduction to you, your business, or an idea that you have. It's designed to be delivered in approximately the time that it takes for you to ride an elevator, hence the name. And it should be about 10 to 20 seconds. Some general characteristics of an elevator pitch is that it should be concise, clear, and memorable. It becomes a lot easier to understand once you have the template. So let's dive into the process of actually crafting your elevator pitch. Okay, so we're gonna craft your elevator pitch in 3 phases. The first phase is to brainstorm. And I want you to brainstorm however you want. Maybe you just think about it. Maybe you write it down. That's my preferred way. Maybe you type it out, whatever you'd like. But I want you to think about these 5 questions as you brainstorm. 1, what problem are you solving? This is, of course, what problem are you solving with your idea or with your business? Question number 2 is, who do you help? Who is your target client? Who is your target customer? Be very specific. And of course, finding your target market is a whole video on itself. So make sure you subscribe in case I decide to do something like that, because that is very important for your business. But hopefully you already have some sort of idea of who your target customer is. Question number 3 is, what do you help them do? Literally, how does your service or product help them? Specific output. Yeah, brainstorm on that. Question number 4 is, so what? How does your product / service / idea help people achieve something they want? This is more than just a product feature. This is literally what value you're bringing to your customer. And number 5 is, how do you help your customer? So this is literally like, what service are you providing or what your product is. So now that you have everything brewing in your head or maybe on paper, and you have brainstormed all of these 5 questions, the next step is to use the template. So I'm going to provide a template for a service-based business and then also for a product-based business. They do differ a little bit, so I wanted to provide both of those depending on what business you have. Okay, for a service-based business, the template looks something like this. You know how, problem statement. Well, I help target customer do output so that they can value proposition. Feel free to pause the video so that you can jot down the template. For product-based business, it looks a little like this. Don't you hate it when problem statement? Well, product is the only product description that helps target customer do output so that they can value proposition. Again, feel free to pause so that you can write that down. Now, these are general templates. Of course, we're gonna make it your own based on your brand and your personality, because obviously we can't just walk around being templates, right? Okay, so now that you have filled out the template, you're gonna have to add your personality. So this is phase 3, is add personality to the template you just created. Hopefully at this point, you know what your brand stands for and you know kind of like the personality that you want your brand to have, or you understand your own personality and know how to align your pitch more towards how you usually carry yourself. If we just use the template and we go around repeating the template, we might sound a little robotic, you know? You gotta add your little spice, like your little sazon. This might get a little crazy with the blank, but we're gonna give it a try. For example, you don't have to say, you know how blank. You might wanna say, has it ever happened where you blank? Or have you noticed that blank? Same thing with the product. Instead of saying, don't you hate it when blank, you might want to keep it a little bit more positive. Maybe that's more of your brand to be positive. So maybe you just say, have you ever blank? And insert the problem statement in that way. If there's time, and I did not include this in the template because it's not super necessary, but if there's time in your conversation and the elevator ride is still going, you know, you can add how you actually help people do this. You don't have to overthink it. You can just say, I do this by blank, and say how you do it. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you an example using Menos Waste so that you get an idea of what an elevator pitch might look like. We all know entrepreneurship is hard, but did you know that 70 to 90% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years? It's not easy being an entrepreneur and starting a business. This is why I help first-time entrepreneurs start and build the small business of their dreams sustainably so that they can live life to the fullest on their own terms. And again, if I have time, I will say, I do this by offering tools, strategies, and insights on best practices via workshops, networking events, and this YouTube channel. Okay, so that's how an elevator pitch might sound. This is for a service-based business. And for a product-based business, I think I'm actually gonna bring in a special guest, which is my co-founder for our mineral sunscreen company, SunMud. And I'm gonna have him do an elevator pitch just so that you get a little feel of how somebody else might do it, and for a product-based business. So let me call him over.
Who likes putting chemicals directly onto their skin and face? I don't. Yeah, that's why we invented SunMud. SunMud is the only high-performance sustainable sunscreen that uses clay and clean ingredients.
Okay, I just thought of this. Maybe it'll be fun to have me also do the pitch that I usually do for SunMud, because it'll show you a little bit of the personality too, even though it's the same product. So let's give it a shot. Have you ever gone to Target or wherever you get your sunscreen and get completely overwhelmed by all the options? And all of them seem to be either chemical or not very good. Well, that's why we developed SunMud, the only high-performance sustainable sunscreen that uses clay and only clean ingredients for diverse skin tones. And if I have time, I would add, so you can get back to having your adventures in the sun without worrying about what's on your face. Okay, whether you're looking at the Menos Waste pitch or the SunMud pitch, they are different, but they all have the same elements in there. And notice that we didn't over talk. So as entrepreneurs, because it's our product or it's our service, we want to talk about everything that we do, right? But you don't have time to do that in an elevator pitch. So yes, for SunMud, we want to talk about our compostable packaging, our infinitely recyclable aluminum tins, our conscious curation of every single ingredient. Yes, we want to talk about that, but you are limited in your elevator pitch to the most important things. And so we focus on clay. That is one of our differentiators, and that's something that we want to highlight. We also want to highlight that it comes in diverse skin tones. That is very important to us and a differentiator. So we include that in our elevator pitch as well. Okay, and we're gonna include a blooper section in this video right after we're done with everything, because it took us quite a few tries to get that elevator pitch recorded, both me and Charles. And we've said this over 100 times, right? Or probably over 1,000 times. We've used this elevator pitch, but it's just so important to practice. Okay, so be honest with yourself. Go back to the brainstorming session if you have to, and really pick out exactly what you want to say, and then practice it 50 million times in front of that mirror. And of course, you can change it. Don't be so strict and don't stay with just these words. I want to say them in this way only, because that's going to trip you up, right? So be gentle with yourself, be gracious in what wording and what kind of vocabulary you can use so that you don't like the more you say it, the more natural it'll become, and the more convincing it'll become too when you use it with a new person. A great place to use your elevator pitch is at networking events. You don't have to wait until you run into the Shark Tank crew. You can use this with anybody that asks you about your business or what you do. Every time you're in a situation when they ask you, what do you do? Lead with your elevator pitch. This is the best way to make sure that you communicate what you do and what your business does in a short amount of time. And then if you have time to elaborate, then you can continue to do so. But you want to make sure you get the important stuff out of the way in the first 10-20 seconds. And just a note here, I hate to tell you, but nobody really cares about your position in the company or like what degrees you have, unless it's like super specific to your business. But people want to hear about your value, right? The value that you bring to your customer and the problem that you're solving. Don't spend too much time. You only have 10-20 seconds. Don't spend 5 seconds telling them, I am the CFO of blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Networking, by the way, is one of the most crucial parts of being an entrepreneur and growing your small business. So if you want some tips on that, I have this video right here that goes through what you do before an event, during the event, and after the event to make sure that you're being intentional about these events and you're getting the most out of them. So there is a method to the madness, okay? Okay, that is all I have for you today. Please enjoy the bloopers for this video, and until next week, don't forget, Poquito goes a long way. Ciao!
That's why we invented sunscreen. we invented sunscreen.
Sustainably, so that they can live life to the fullest.
Fucking whatever chemicals on your face and skin. And this is why you should practice your pitch 1 billion times and probably not get stony beforehand. It's the one and only Digo Double D. That's how we became Sunmud. It has badass skin tones.
It's not easy being an entrepreneur and starting a business. This is why I help first-time entrepreneurs.
But this one's going to be the best one. Take 17. Who likes putting chemicals in... Take 5,000. Sustainable sunscreen that uses clay and only clean ingredients.